All right. Today is Nigerians' independence, and very quickly, just before I show you something in the second stanza of our national anthem, I'm going to first of all read to you a quote that has kept me going, something that helped me in the journey that we embarked a few months ago. It's a quote from Muhammad Ali. All right, and it says that impossible is just a big word thrown around by small men who find it easier to live in a world that they have been given rather than explore the power they have to change it. And oftentimes, this is the challenge that we have. When I was going to start that journey, and I remembered I called a few friends of mine and I said, this is one of the things I want to do. By the way, it was inspired in one of the meetings I had with a former president of one of the African countries. And when we were done with that meeting, it dawned on me that the greatest challenge we have in this country, one of them, is the fact that every single one of us sitting down here, we are all focused, we are all ready to work on our personal businesses. We are all ready to ensure that our companies are working, that our businesses are working well. And nobody here is interested in how the systems of government and of governance works. And by the time we were done with that conversation, he said to me, Ozioma, when you get back to Nigeria, fold your sleeves and get involved. Now, one thing that was in my heart all through was the word impossible. Because I realized that it is one of the greatest challenges that we have in this part of the world. Impossible. How are you going to start? Where are you going to start from? I mean, at the time, I didn't even belong to any political party, as a matter of fact. At the time also, I was just a private citizen. I just like to do my things, just do my business, do my work, and I was fine, as long as I'm able to run my life. So, the word impossible faced me until I stumbled on this quote. And I realized that truly impossible is nothing. And just before I continue, I'd like you to please look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor impossible is nothing. Really? Because come to think about it, nobody believed that men can fly until someone invented an aeroplane. True or false? True or false? Nobody believed in this world that you can live in a house and someone will live above you until someone builds a story building. True or false? It will always be impossible until it is done. I used to tell people that no one believed that you can unseat a sitting president in Nigeria until it was done. True or false? Nobody believed that you can unseat a sitting governor until it was done. The same way nobody believes that a young man or a young person can come from nowhere and actually become anything until someone becomes it. If you check in your village, you will realize that no one actually went to the university until someone did it. The moment one person did it, it will now be said that he's the first to graduate from the university. Right or wrong? And so, this is one quote that has kept me going. That impossible truly is nothing. What it means is that it is possible to Nigeria to be lively again. It is possible for this country to work. It's very possible. Very possible. The only challenge we have is that in this country, we often don't understand that political positions are leadership positions. We don't understand it. And that is why you find out that in every company you see in this country, the owners of the country find their best brains to run those companies. Elsewhere in the world, every nation that works, those countries find their best brains to run their countries. It is only here that when we go to different states of assemblies or local governments and all that, you find people who rarely even passed standard 6. Meanwhile, the policies that they make will either help business or shut it down. Haven't you found out that everywhere in the world where young people are, we run the town, we run the show. And everywhere we get into works. Everywhere we get into works. So first of all, I just want you to have this at the back of your mind while we have this quick conversation. Just have this at the back of your mind and I'm going to come back to it. All right. So the second stanza of our national anthem says, oh God, it's actually a prayer like the MC said when we were starting this meeting. Oh God of creation, direct our noble course. Guide our leaders right to help our youth to know the truth to know. Help our youth the truth to know. What truth are we talking about here? The truth is highlighted down the lines of this anthem. It says, so that great lofty heights that we can attain, we young people. To do what? To do what? What it means is that it's actually our responsibility to build a nation. That is actually the prayer of our forebearers who wrote this anthem. And when we talk about these young people we are talking about, it represents nearly everyone here. Today, we are over 200 million by our population. Over 120 million of us are young people. I'm sure it is more than this number in these statistics. I'm very sure of that. And one of the things I've realized is that if you walk into every single sector that is working in this country, you will find young people. In any sector of your choice, technology, media, banking, entertainment, anywhere you walk into that works in this country, you will realize that it is us young people that make it work. Right or wrong? Right or wrong? Anywhere we show, if we enter media, media has been there until we came. We have some of our gurus, Jika is here. They've been here until young people came. The moment we showed up on media, social media, it became a boom. We get into technology, it becomes a boom. We get into entertainment, it becomes a boom. Day we all, sitting down here, decide to get into government, it will work. I dare you to go to, say, Ministry of, for example, Water Resources in Enugu. The people you will find there will prove to you why there is no water in our taps. Because truly, they lack whatever it takes to make it happen. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. Haven't you ever wondered why, if you look at government, when I say government, I don't just mean politics, no. If you look at our government schools, for example, you see how dilapidated they are, true or false? Have you ever thought to yourself, why is it that the private schools work? They are all schools. Why does it work? It's because of us young people. Us young people. Now, this is the one that bleeds my heart every time. Our population. A few years ago, we were 160 million. 4 years ago or thereabout, when Jonathan was president, by that statistics. All right? And today, they say we are 200 million. And by the statistics they gave us this year, they said that in January 1st this year, 25,000 babies were born. 25,000. In this 25,000, one day, so multiply it by 1 year. It means that by the end of this year, we will have 9.3 million children added. Meanwhile, this is the ones in the normal hospitals outside of the villages. So in 10 years, we will have 90 million children added to our 200 million. All right? And as we speak today, there are no jobs. So a few years ago, they turned all of us entrepreneurs. They said everybody here become an entrepreneur because there are no jobs. And sadly enough, the entire educational curriculum of this country today wants to make all of us civil servants and public servants. Every single one of us. And so I was privileged to go to the school I attended sometime last year. And I found out that the lecturer that was teaching in that school, the same course, the same examples, the same line of thoughts, word for word, that he taught me 10 years ago, he was teaching the dudes that were there 10 years after. I called him and I said, the world has gone beyond this point. I read computer science, by the way. I said, the world has traveled far away from where you are. And that's what they are still teaching us. And when they are done, they will turn around and say that we are lazy. All right. So I ended this page by saying that dependency ratio today is at all-time high. All-time high. All-time. Okay. So this is the quagmire that we find ourselves in. And that's why I said to everyone here, it's time to fold your sleeves and get involved. Don't just sit back and believe that this country is going to be good because we do praying and fasting in our churches and do night vigils in our churches every day. No. We've got to stand up and get involved. We've got to fold our sleeves and get involved. If we put the effort we put in our private businesses, in governance, it will begin to work. These are some of the things that I thought about, that I said to myself, it is possible, it can be done. The last time it happened like that because it was only me. But I'm hoping that in the next 3 years, by the time we get to 4 years, there will be at least 100 persons like me who will fold their sleeves and get involved. It won't work until we work it. Every country that is developed, people develop them. Every nation that works, every system that works, people made it work. And I said in this quote that nothing starts until you start. If we don't start it, it will not start. If we don't start, it doesn't start. Something I said here, every time we live our life, we must understand that it has to be about impact. There are 3 levels of impact. The first one is the positive impact, which we all understand. There are people you meet in life and they leave a positive impact. You just remember them forever because of the positive impacts that they leave on you. And the second one is the negative impact. I'm sure we all understand that. As bad as it is, the worst kind of impact is nil impact. You know the way you walk through a system and leave, and the system doesn't recognize that you are there. You meet people and you work in an organization, and 2 years, 3 years, 4 years after you've worked in that organization, there's zero impact. Zero, completely zero. You live in a compound or in a street, and after you've left that environment, there's no impact, nothing to make people remember that you were there. And most young people today, that's what we see. Zero impact. Zero impact. I'm going to run very quickly. All right, so if you look at the theme that we're considering today, lost, find, and redirect. Lost, find, and redirect. And I said to people, the day you realize that your present day realities, that the things you find around yourself does not match those dreams, those aspirations, those things that you want to see in your life, then it means that it's time to redirect. If you find out ever that the things that happen in and around you, because sometimes we have dreams and aspirations of things we want to achieve, want to do, want to become, or things we just expect, and they don't work the way we want them to work. Oftentimes what we do as young people is that we complain, we nag, we just complain around. Ladies and gentlemen, I submit to you this morning that it's time to redirect. Imagine that you're traveling from Independence Layout and you're going to, say, GRA. Imagine the use of technology. You're using a map, a Google map, something like that. And then you put your destination. And the moment you click start, it starts taking you in the direction that you want to go, right? You understand that? Okay? The moment you go off your route, once you go off your route, you will find out that it starts recalibrating. You understand that? All you need to do is to find your current location. If you can find your location, you can recalibrate. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So as we study this concept, I'd like you to begin to think of those dreams, those aspirations, those things in your life or in your environment that you've complained about. That you know, sometimes these dreams are things that you want to become, some things that you hope to see around you. Let's be thinking about this as we come. I'm going to tell you a story that I'm sure that a few of you have heard before now. This story is a story of a girl, a young lady, who wanted to know her future. And so they said to her, you need to go and see this dibia, this soothsayer, to tell or to foretell your future. And this lady went to the soothsayer, and the soothsayer drew 2 circles, one white and one black on the floor, brought a millipede and dropped, and said, today we are going to play a song. As this millipede moves, if it moves to the white circle, it means that your future is bright. If it moves to the black circle, it means that your future is bad. And the lady agreed, and they began to beat the music. And the millipede began to move to the white circle. It began to move to the white circle, and the lady was excited. She was smiling. She was happy because she can see that her future is bright. But somewhere along the line, just before it got there, the millipede changed his mind and turned and started moving to the black circle. And she watched in amazement as this millipede is moving to the black circle. And she watched, and it kept getting closer and closer and closer. And just when the millipede was about to enter the black circle, the lady went to that black circle, caught the millipede by her hand. And everybody was wondering what is going on here. And she took that millipede and went to the white circle and dropped the millipede there and killed it. So, that's the direction. So the man said, what have you done and why did you do it? And she turned and said to the soothsayer, I cannot stand here and watch my future go bad. This is what I say to every one of you. As young people, we cannot sit down here and watch our future go bad. We cannot afford to do that, because I tell people, when I was running for elections, I used to tell my friends, I said, now that we're talking about it, check how old you are. I said to them, the next time we'll have this conversation is in 4 years' time. Add 4 years to your age. So that you understand, because one of the biggest lies they've told us over the years is that we are the leaders of tomorrow, right? We heard that from the very beginning. I dare challenge that thing to say that we are the leaders of today. Because tomorrow, as we are here today is the tomorrow that yesterday talked about. Today is the tomorrow that yesterday talked about. So we cannot continue to procrastinate that. And that's why you see people who are 25, 30, 35, living in their father's house and their mother's house, eating free food, and just believing that tomorrow is coming. We're the leaders of tomorrow after all. That tomorrow we talked about is today. So I dare you to please, let's take a lesson from this lady. Let's take our future by our hands. We cannot keep waiting for government. We cannot keep waiting for people who have no plans, no ideas, nothing in their mind concerning this environment to make our decisions for us. And so I say to you that the best way to predict your future is to create it. I'd like you to please look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, create your future. No, say with some conviction. Say, it's time to create your future. When we say something is lost, it means you can't find your way. That's when we say that something is lost. For everyone that is sitting under the sound of my voice, I believe that something in you, there's probably, most likely, something that you feel is lost. These are just a few, basically. But it might not represent yours. But I'm sure if you look deep down, you will find something in the inside of you that you're looking for. For some people, it's their dreams. Some is their aspirations. Some is their self-esteem. My friend just talked about a few minutes ago. Some people it's relationships. Some people it's value systems, moral systems, whatever it is that you've lost. For some people, it's the courage to dare. The courage to dare that big dream, that invention, that thing that you want to do, that you've always wanted to do. That thing that you've lost. I want it to be the hallmark of this meeting today, that you will find it. If you can find it, you can get back there. And when we talk about dreams, a wise man said that a dream is not what you see when you sleep, like we know in Africa. But the dream is that one that when it comes, it takes sleep away from your eyes. That's what a dream is. And that's what I'm talking about today. So let's find it. Those things that you could have done, you should have done, you would have done, you would have been, you could have been. Those are the things we are talking about today. That if you can find them, if you can go back to those aspirations and those dreams, if you can find them, we can get back to it. You can redirect to it. I gave an analogy of when you have your map, for example, your Google map. You will find out that when you recalibrate, you will hear that beautiful voice on Google Earth. It will tell you to proceed to the highlighted routes. Right? It tells you when you miss your way. It means redirect. You've gone away from where we want to be. It's time to redirect. And this morning or afternoon now, I want to challenge every single one of you. Because my speech this morning has to do with my journey a few months back. I'd like to challenge every one of you. 4 years is here. Because all we do is sit back and complain about what the president has done and what he hasn't done. Or what the governor has done and what he hasn't done. But truly, is it really about the governor? A friend of mine that is going to speak this morning, while we were sitting down in the lobby, said something that made sense. When you think about America, most times we don't think about Donald Trump. We think about other people, Bill Gates, this person, that person. We think about great people in America. But here, when we think about Nigeria, you think about the president. What has he done or not done? Governors and all that. Let me be honest with you. Until we all get involved, nothing will change. Nothing starts until you start. I dare challenge every one of you. Nothing is wrong to belong in a political party. The time is now. Go join. Go fold your sleeves and get involved. You don't have to contest yourself, but you can support someone. You can help change the narratives. It doesn't change on social media. It doesn't change by wishing. It doesn't even change by praying and fasting, because truly, if a nation changes by praying and fasting, Nigeria will be the best country in the world. Because we pray and we fast and we do night vigils every day. But things are getting worse. What will happen is that good men like every one of you will need to get involved in your small little way, in your small little corner. Everyone needs to get involved. I tell people that Nigeria is the most blessed country in the world. If we look at all the resources that God has blessed us with, our mineral resources, our natural resources, and our human resources. Because everywhere in the world, you find Nigerians, we are the best. That's why you see someone that will go to ESUT, finish in ESUT, third class. The guy will travel abroad to do masters, will have distinction. Same person, just change the environment. So the problem is not us. That's why you see someone who is here hustling, doing everything he can, and nothing is working. If he travels abroad, give him 2-3 years, the guy will start doing well. Same person. So we are not the problem. It is the systems. And I dare challenge every single one of us. It's time to redirect. It's time to stop complaining and get involved. And I believe without any shadow of doubt that we'll make this place a better place. We'll make it better than what we inherited from our parents. Once again, I want to thank you very much. My name is Ozioma Ani. God bless you.